In this technique video, I'm going to show you how to take your fused fine silver rings that we learned how to make in the coil cut and fusing fine silver rings video and work harden them and add texture to them using a hammer and a bench block. So these rings here are just fused. That's all I've done with them. I haven't hammered or work hardened them at all. And as you can see, they're very malleable. They just really bend and turn, and so they're not really ready to be used in jewelry as a component at this point. But I'll show you how to work harden them and or add texture to them so that you can use them as jewelry components. So I'm going to get our tools set up, and I'll show you what tools you need to do this. Okay, so I'm set up here for my station to do some texturing and some work hardening of our fused rings. So what I have here is I have a couple of rings that are already fused. I have my bench block. This one is it has a bench block helper, which is kind of nice because it kind of helps deaden the sound a little bit. So I've got a nice clean steel bench block. You want to make sure that your block is nice and clean and it doesn't have any pits or anything in it, because that will transfer to your metal, because obviously fine silver is very soft. So you just want to make sure it's nice and clean. And then we also have a nylon block here, and this is where you can take out the steel one, put that one in there, and then you can just work harden your rings if you don't actually want to flatten or add texture to them. So this bench block with the helper is really great. I like this setup. Then I also have just a basic chasing hammer. And this is good because this side you can just flatten your rings, and this side you can add a little bit of texture. So I've got just a basic chasing hammer, and then I've got a plastic mallet. You could also use a rawhide mallet, and this is what you use with the nylon block to just work harden your rings when you don't want to flatten them. Okay, so I'm set up here to work harden these two rings. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my fused ring. I'm going to set it on my nylon block here. So with my plastic mallet. So to just work harden these, this won't add texture and it won't flatten them. You just want to gently hammer on your ring. And you want to do it a few times. You can flip it over. You don't have to just kind of, and this will activate the metal and kind of work harden it, so it will firm it up so the ring is not super, super soft. So see, you can already see like it is really hard to try to bend that now. So now it's like a pretty good, this is a great replacement if you don't want to tumble your rings, but I always recommend tumbling them. But you can work harden them enough that they'll be usable with just the plastic mallet and the nylon bench here. So I'm just going to do one more. Again, it's just very simple. You just hammer down on it. And you don't have to flip them over, but sometimes it just is like, feels like you should. Give it a couple hammers. And now I've got my second one ready to go. And so you can see I can't bend it, so it should be good to go. And that's all it is, all there is to just work hardening your metal. Okay, so I'm set up here to go ahead and add texture to my rings here. So I'm just going to take my first ring, and again, these are already fused rings, and I'm going to set it on my steel bench block. And then I like to use a piece of tape just to kind of save my fingers. So I'm just going to apply a piece of tape to just the corner of the ring. And I try not to hammer on that because it will kind of split the tape. I'm just going to try to hammer on this open part here. So with my hammer, I'm going to start with the flat part first to kind of flatten it. And then I'll flip over to the chasing part and add a little bit of texture. So to flatten it, I just like to hit down and then I push out just ever so slightly to kind of work out the metal as I'm flattening my ring. So you just go ahead, make sure your tape is nice and secure there so it holds that ring. And you're just going to go ahead and start hitting it with a hammer and just kind of pushing out a little bit. And just want to make sure you work around. I like to have my rings fairly consistent as I'm flattening them. So I try to kind of work it evenly around. So I'm feeling like that side is pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull off my tape here and turn my ring around so that I expose the part that isn't flattened. So I'll take my tape and I'll put that over the flattened part here. Make sure it's nice and secure. And then I'm just going to use the flat part again and just flatten that part of the ring. In the same fashion as hitting it down and push it out a little bit. See, as you can see, it's kind of metal starting to kind of flatten and kind of worked out. And you can flatten as much as you like. It's kind of more of a, like, just kind of whatever kind of style you like. So I'm feeling this is pretty good in this aspect of how it's flattened. But now I want to add a little bit of texture to it. So I'm just going to grab a new piece of tape. And in the same fashion as we flattened it, we're just going to tape it off to the side here. And then you take your chasing part and you're just going to add some texture there to that ring. All right, so I think it's pretty good on that side. I'm just going to pull this tape up here before it rips. So see, I've kind of gotten a little bit of texture there. And now I'm just going to turn it around, grab a new piece of tape, and I'm going to add texture to this other side here. And sometimes that will happen. It will just kind of flip out there a little bit. But you can just always put it back down with a piece of tape. At this point, I think actually I'm just going to use my finger and just kind of spin it, because now I'm kind of to the point where there's just a few spots that I want to kind of smooth out. So I'm just going to just hold on with my finger and just kind of go around and just hit those spots that I see that I don't like, that are maybe not as worked out as much as I would like them to. So I got a little spot here. I just want it to be out a little bit more. There. So now I've got one little textured ring. So this is nice and work hardened. It is not going to bend or anything. And so now it's ready to be used as a component in jewelry. So I'm going to just show you that one more time. Got one more ring here. Just going to repeat that process. Just going to put my tape down. Again, the tape is just to save your fingers. I'm just going to go ahead and flatten it. This one I'm just going to flatten a little bit, just to kind of show you a little bit of different look. So see, you can see that one's just kind of slightly flattened. So I'm just going to turn that around. And I'm just going to flatten ever so slightly the other side. And at this point, you could just leave that ring. You don't have to add the dimpling texture if you don't want to. But I'm just going to go ahead and do that just on that ring here. So I'm going to go ahead and flip over to the chasing part now, just to add a little bit of texture. All right, so that side's done. I just rotate it. Just gonna turn my tape around. Just add a little bit of texture there. So I got a little bit of tape on there. I can just scratch that off. And there, so you just have like a different look. So you can definitely see where you can just add, there's a lot of texture and a lot of, the metal's worked out quite a bit more. And then this one's a little bit softer, not so smoothed out and worked out. And there, that's all there is to texturing and work hardening your metal. Okay, so these rings here are the ones that we just work hardened using the nylon bench block and the plastic mallet. So they still have their rounded edges. And then these rings over here are the ones that I flattened and textured using the chasing hammer and the steel bench block. So at this point, these rings are ready to be used in jewelry as components. But if you wanted to like polish them up and just like work harden them just at that extra level, you could put them in a rock tumbler. So be sure to check out our next video where I'll show you how to polish and further work harden your fused rings in the rock tumbler.